Hello, my name is Dr. Cheryl Burdett, and I am the creator and educational director of Origins Incubator. And so this week we wanted to talk about a case. And we talked about a woman who is having trouble in terms of eyebrows thinning. But the real question was, how do we get started in more complex cases? And so we walked through ideas and talked about differential diagnosis in terms of eyebrows that were thinning. We began to look at other chief complaints that she was having and begin to break those down into processes. Are these other problems in the more hormonal area or nutritional area? And then began to see where the majority of her complaints were lying. So we asked the question, did we see a common thread through these complaints? And so what we began to see is that there was, in fact, a element of hormonal imbalance that could be affecting many of the things that she was experiencing. And so we walked through some specific recommendations that might be helpful for her, like zinc and ashwagandha. But the real question in terms of how do we get started? So we thought about, in terms of her chief complaints, what is it that was most important? What is it that she was most motivated by in order to change health? Then we thought about what is the process behind the chief complaints? Because when we put these two together, this gives us a way to begin in integrative medicine in a way that has a stepwise fashion. Many times we're struck with the fact that in a complex patient, there are many things at play. And it gives us hesitation in terms of knowing where to start. Do we order every single test? Do we order gut-based testing and heavy metal testing and environmental toxicity testing and infectious disease testing and nutrient testing all at the same time? Or is there a way to break it down? And so we examined what lens we would use to put her case in a strategic fashion, to build a timeline to talk to her about in terms of what tests we would do next and how we would progress with her. Because even though clinically, diagnostically, having all the information that we could want at one particular time, it is optimal until we come to how do we put it in place. And so because patients can't do every single thing at once, understanding where to start and how to peel back the layers of the onion is one of the hardest questions that we find ourselves facing. So in our clinical curriculum, we work to think not just about the actual interventions, but how do we put a wellness program in place for this patient that captures the individualization that we need, but at the same time lets them know that there's not one bullet, one pill for a single ill, and really introduces them to the concepts of integrative medicine. This is the challenge, helping our patients to know that it won't be one visit, it won't be one stop, and putting that program together. Initially, for me, I often had hesitations with programs because I thought, well, they will never be able to address the individuality of each patient. And so we see many programs out there that will teach this protocol, and you do this protocol first and this protocol next. But at Origins, we really want to move beyond that, because the reason that we become dissatisfied with medical practice is because we get tired of not looking for root cause. When we always decide it's a statin for every elevated cholesterol, and we aren't asking the question why the cholesterol is high in the first place, this leaves many of us feeling like we are not not engaging in the kind of medicine that we would like to have our own family encounter, the kind of medicine that we would like to deliver from our heart. But if it's not going to be protocol driven, then how do we master all the individualities of what's going on? So at Origins, we are not here to just teach another protocol, but we want to always think about how you look at a case, how you organize a case, how you take certain protocols that you might know, but layer them and individualize them for each patient. So we looked at a kind of questions we would ask. What is the diagnosis? What is the major process behind that diagnosis? What motivates the patient in terms of wellness? And where do we thrive as a clinician? And when we answer each of those questions for each patient, it puts us on a roadmap that allows us to build an individualized program that will meet the needs, that will treat root cause, that helps us to feel aligned in terms of our academics and our heart working together to find an individualized best solution for each patient that we meet with.